All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? I guess you'd call this episode one, little thing that we're calling risk and reward. Sometime, basically it's going to document our eBay adventures, sort of keep us more accountable to, reaching our goals that we have for ourselves on eBay and making more income, being able to stay at home more, just kind of do more of the things that life should be about, I guess, in our opinion. And so yeah, it's not just me. There's another person.
Hello.
Yes. So we're basically a team. Been doing this for over 10 years on eBay. It's not full-time reselling, but over the years, there's been times where we've been really into it and really made it a priority, and we've reaped those rewards as far as more money and more time for everything. But the name of the show is Risk and Reward. That's kind of like what we go by, I guess you would say. Basically, it just kind of means there's times where we're taking more risk, a little more risky items that we might purchase to resell, and then there's other times where we're searching more for the reward. Maybe that means selling something a little cheaper to get that money a little faster. So we all have those different times, right? I guess you would say, where sometimes you're gonna feel like taking a risk, and I'm gonna say, hey, why don't we slow down a little bit? Let's try to see what can we make, I guess you would say, like, normal money, not some big item that we have high hopes for.
Well, sometimes you just want to sell stuff faster and make that money faster and put new items up for sale.
Right, just like have more turnover, and I guess that would be more of the reward seeking part. Just more, I guess you could compare it to like buy it now versus an auction. Like if you wanted that reward quicker, you're gonna do a buy it now and get that money, get that payment, almost instantly. Whereas if you're a little more risky, you can wait a little longer for that big payday. So
the auction style is like more exciting, though, I think, in a way. And then a lot of times with buy it now, you'll get an offer that's like half the price of what you really wanted for the item. But then if it's been listed for a long time, you almost feel like, I just should take it, just get some new items, like new action.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I definitely agree with that, and I guess those are some of the things that we're going to be using this channel for, is to kind of get into some tips and tricks and some tried and true practices, what we know works for us, what we've heard works for other people. We want to get like your feedback and find out what you guys are doing, maybe save us some headaches, roadblocks that you've come across. Basically, what we're kind of try to do is do like a weekly video, sort of a wrap up, like how many listings do we have currently, how many things did we sell, maybe what were they, did you have returns, and that way it's sort of like a time capsule that will chart our progress with eBay and kind of hold us accountable. If we say, hey, next week I want to list 75 items, well, in 7 days, you're going to have to come, on YouTube here, make this video and be accountable. How many did you list? What's your reason why you didn't? Or, how were you able to list more?
We should also have like a goal of like how many items we like want to sell per week, and maybe like make price adjustments or like offer 15% off on certain items that we've had for sale for like over 30 days maybe.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, what do you do with items that have just been on your shelf for so long, you're just sick of looking at them? What do you do, right, like you were saying earlier about the what is it, the best offer feature? If you have a buy it now, you could submit a best offer. What's your experience with those? Just that would be kind of cool to just interact with you guys out there and see how is it for you. Different part of the country, different part of the world. It's just kind of interesting. So let's start off real quick, and I guess this is episode one, so we're gonna be new at this. Excuse me, kind of a tongue twisted and rambling. So
We We just want to go over what we've like sold in the last week and how many active listings we have currently.
So yeah, we'll break it down. Right now, our active listings are at 435. And that's a lot, right? Would you say?
That's a lot, I would say.
That was hard to get there. I mean, to be honest, there's quite a few things in there that were listed and then you relist them as you keep adding new items. So the relist feature is amazing, right? I mean, that's what a time saver.
Definitely.
Right, yeah, like if it doesn't sell, you just click relist.
Well, bulk edit helps too.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Prices. Adjust things like as you go.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is you hear that number, 435 active listings. That didn't happen overnight. That wasn't even 7 days of listing. I mean, this isn't what we do full time.
No, it's not an everyday thing. So that's like a few months over time of like trying to build up as much as we can. So I think our goal, like for within the next week, we should try to get to 500 definitely.
We're so close to 500. I really want to get there. That's definitely my goal as well. It all depends on what items you're listing too. Certain things you can just go so quick. Other things, like say clothes, you're messing with all these measurements. You're searching every little fabric for a stain.
Or if you have to change categories too.
Changing categories, yeah, definitely. That's true. But so anyways, yeah, we're at 435 listings. We chose today for multiple reasons, but it is the first. So it's kind of cool, we're starting right on the first with our so-called, time capsule eBay adventures. So yeah, it's kind of a cool baseline. So 435 active listings. Now, out of all those listings, what are your time frames? Like, what can you even do? I mean, you could do what? 1 day, 3, 5, 10?
Well, now they have like good till canceled, but we haven't really tried that many of those yet. So,
well, right. There's
how
good
good those are. We like the 30-day ones for the most part.
30-day,
I feel
okay.
Like some sort of end on a term, like some sort of time is of the essence for them to buy. I don't know. I just think 30 days should be long enough to think about it if you're watching something for.
So if you see an item and it says good till canceled, you kind of wonder. It kind of gives the impression that you have time to wait, I guess.
Well, not only that, but then it gives the impression that you're gonna hold out for that price. So maybe they're not gonna even try to make you an offer because they think, well, it's good till canceled because they don't want to mess with their listings and they're not gonna bring down their price. So I'm not even gonna bother. I'll just look for something else.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's why I used to like the 7-day ones more because you would think they're gonna get bid on at the last minute, but then when they don't and they're only listed for 7 days, it feels like you kind of missed out. So the 30-day I think is good.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you have 7 days to have that one specific person a lot of times for your item, and I mean that seems pretty impossible sometimes. So I can definitely see how a 30-day listing would look super attractive to somebody listing on eBay and trying to make money, because it still has an end date where an intelligent person is going to say this isn't going to be here it's forever. So 30 days to make up your mind, and then that sort of gives you enough time to pull in as much traffic as you probably can on something. I don't know. I kind of like that too.
So what do you guys think? Do you think 7-day listings are better, 30 days, or good till canceled?
Yeah, what works for you guys right now? I mean, we've been doing this for over 10 years, and we have a lot of listings right now. We've made a lot of money before, but there's been times where we didn't do it at all. I mean, we've definitely been burned out on it. There's highs and lows, but
there's always stuff to learn, so we're always open-minded for.
It's always fun to know. It's always interesting, right, to find out what somebody else is doing. How do you stay motivated to keep listing? For me, I see that number 435, and it's always, I don't think I've ever had more or even close to 500 listings at
I
one
think
time.
that is the most that we've ever had. So to get to 500 is going to be like a big deal. So I think that that should be our goal within the next 7 days to hold ourselves accountable, that we should try to get to 500 should be our goal.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do
So let's
is,
do the math on that. So.
well, it's so easy. I'm just gonna throw it on the computer right now in the little notes so I don't, forget about it. But it will be hard not to. Yeah, so 500 total listings by next week, I guess, within 7 days. Within 7 days. And
so by the 8th of September. So next week when we talk to you guys, we should have be to 500 or more.
yeah, so hopefully we're saying we have more than 500, and it was like just super insane, like motivation. We just couldn't
Just
stop.
do the math real quick. So how many listings is that?
Oh, so basically from 500 minus 435?
60.
So, yeah, 65.
Okay.
65 listings. I mean, I know I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to look for things that are easier to list. And like you were saying, like stay in the same categories and make it easy on ourselves. But at the same time, I mean, I want these things to sell. So they do take time to put up a listing. I don't do it from my phone, like a smartphone or anything like that. Maybe it's old fashioned. I'm not too sure. Just do it on the computer, the laptop, and there's not as many things to click and nonsense as there used to be. But that's nice. But it's still gonna take 2 to 5 minutes per listings.
Depending on the amount of description and number of pictures and all that.
Definitely more if it's something like clothes where you need measurements, or if there's a lot of pictures you have to take. I mean, because I don't always.
We kind of shied away from clothes more unless they're basically new without tags or new with tags, just because you just eliminate any returns, because you don't want a problem because there's a thread loose on an armpit that you didn't even see.
Well, we've had a situation actually where, we're almost 100% sure, we're not going to call anybody out on it. We took the return and it was no big deal, but we had sold, I think it was a bathing suit, and it was
brand new.
Well, it was brand new, but it was so obvious that however they opened it was some kind of a letter opener or screwdriver. I'm not sure how they did it, but it looked like something was used to open the box and ripped.
They poked a hole in it.
And poked a hole in there, and big deal, right? But it's just a drag when you get those kind of emails or notifications. So, yeah, for right now, we're swaying away from clothing unless it's brand new with tags. But I think where I was going to go with the whole time frame for blocking out a certain amount of time for listing, I don't necessarily take photos into account, because a lot of times I'll make the listing and I don't think, maybe this isn't the best way to do it, but I'll put in a placeholder photo. And then once I'm done listing, I'll just take all my pictures and just throw them up for every listing at once. And so you have to kind of take into consideration, if you have an item that you're going to have to take 10, maybe 15 photographs, that's considered, right? You got to add that onto that listing. So maybe you took 10 minutes to list it, 5 minutes. That's 15 minutes for one item.
But are we missing out on the potential sale because someone doesn't click on it because there's no photo?
That's definitely.
So you kind of makes you wonder, well, maybe I should take the pictures ahead of time and already have them ready so that when I'm doing the listing, I can just go pull them. So,
it would make.
We've done it both ways. So, there's no way to really tell so far because we haven't had a sale faster per se without having the pictures. So,
right.
So far we haven't had a real way to say either way, I guess.
If you were to really stop and think about it, I think, you should probably have your pictures taken maybe first. Ahead of time. And maybe you could kind of get ahead of the game by taking a lot of pictures on, you had a good day, and you were just, trigger happy with the shutter on the camera or something, and you just took a ton of photos. That might be really smart. 'Cause to be honest, you might even get your listing taken down if you have maybe an image that says,
not quality.
If it's not the good enough quality is one thing, but if you have a placeholder, like kind of what I said that I have done before, that might be against an eBay violation or something. I'm not sure. It's definitely not like the best habit. I usually get the pictures posted into that listing, within 1 hour. I mean, it's not something I'd take days to do. I've never had an issue with it, but because I did it that way, I never really added the time I took to take photos to my listing. You know what I mean? So I might do 20 listings in a day, and I'd say I did it in 45 minutes or an hour, and thought, wow, that was really good.
Photos, it would take
yeah,
longer.
I still have like another
hour of shooting. Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
So I think, maybe that might be something, when you say things, when you talk it out, kind of have like a little, meeting of the minds, as like what we're doing right now. Sometimes you, like when you say it, you kind of visualize it a little different and say, does that really make sense, Because, kind of like right when I said it, I'm like, yeah, that seems a little bit silly, right? Mm-hmm. Have all your pictures, even for items you don't plan to list that day, and
well,
you're
that's what
listing.
I was saying before, and we've done that lots of times where we just put them in a folder, and then that way when we have time to list, the photos are always there, and then you always have like a completed listing, and you don't have to go back to it. So I think that might be a better way to like do it, like just have us like that's plan that's always the way it's going to be done. Just
I think that's good, because now we kind of have it like documented here, right, on YouTube. We're accountable for it, and now we're going to be able to say, hey, how has that been going, where you take pictures first and list it,
like,
and you're
do
done.
We get more sales from that? So we'll have to see that.
Or do we get more done?
We need to go over, like, within the last week, our sold listings. So 6 sales in a week. So that's almost 1 a day.
Okay.
Like for it to be at least double that. So I think our goal should try to be like 14 in a week.
14 sales
in a week.
So basically, you're wanting like 2 a day every day.
That would be a nice steady flow, because we almost have 1 a day, and I think if we just kick it up a notch, and that's what we're trying to do by doing this and holding ourselves more accountable, is to have a way for it to be more rewarding, for you to like reap more profit from it.
Right.
So if we're putting more time into it, I think that our goal should be for next week to have 500 listings and have 14 sales.
Okay, let me, I'll just jot that down for the record. So, 500 listings within the next 7 days, and we want total sales to be, is that really your goal? Like, is that obtainable? Because, I mean, there is the question to sort of ask, I guess, maybe after we figure out our sales, goal for the next week. With having almost 500 listings, but 6 sales, I think maybe we talk about, is there something wrong with like our titles or descriptions, pictures,
exactly,
prices?
So that's what this is for. We're just trying to like figure out like the best way to like list things and like title them and describe them and put the right amount of photos to like get the sales. Like,
well, how about this then? How about I just put 10 to 12 sales?
That would be good.
In 1
week.
week.
12 would be double, so that would be fair. 14 would be a all-star goal.
I mean, there's a whole conversation to...
But there's always a chance of doing that. Like, I was just talking about, like, maybe stuff that we've had listed for over 30 days. Like, do a 15% off sale on it, and maybe you do get 6 extra listings. Like,
well, we definitely need to concentrate on how you go about, lowering... taking a certain percentage off and seeing if that works.
And do you think that puts you in, like, a different category, too? If you're offering a sale, you might get a different group of buyers that are searching specifically for sale items. So maybe we should try that. So I think that should be another goal for next week, is to put a few, like a number of items, I would say at least 30 items, like on sale, and see if that brings any more volume.
Okay, so I'll just put a little note, like figure out how to like create sales, like just learn more about that this week, and at least get something going. Yeah, start just a few.
Test the waters.
Yeah, okay, start a few like that. So, alright, I mean, and, real fast too, is to be noted that there was no returns. So that's always good, right? When you have small sales, I mean, the last thing you want is more issues and problems, and, that's cool that we avoided that. So I guess it makes a big difference, obviously, too, right? You had 6 sales, but, like, what was your total amount? Like, what did you really make from those 6 items? Because that's you know, I mean, heck, if you made $6,000, that's a good week, right?
Definitely.
So we didn't quite make $1,000 for our 6 sales, right? But we're getting closer, right? What was it for those 6 sales?
It's $69.85, so you're like getting closer to $100. And like we said, this is just for extra money, and like, but we obviously want to drive that profit up to be a more rewarding.
I mean,
per week.
we're right at that threshold, though, right? I mean, it's still worth those 6 sales because you're making over $10
A day.
a day. So like, it's there. Like, you're a shark, right? And you know, you smell some blood. So I mean, it's there. The potential's there. Yeah, we're just gonna get kind of down to brass tacks, and I think this
And
whole show
definitely
thing
has
is gonna be
potential,
cool.
and we've been a lot busier before with it a number of years ago. So the goal is to see how we can get that going again and drive that profit up to be, like you were talking about, maybe $1,000 per week.
I mean, I mean, the bottom line is you're you're working towards freedom. I mean, like, we have a common ground with probably a lot of the listeners that are, you know, they're eBay junkies. You know, they're searching Craigslist. They're going to yard sales and garage sales and flea markets, and you know, they're hustling like constantly. And I mean, you're doing all that so that you can go and maybe, you know, a certain hobby that you like, or maybe you want to go on vacation, or I mean, we all have different reasons, but our main goal and what like brings us all together is that we're trying to reach that goal in a similar way. And so I mean, this sounds, I don't know, I think it's going to be really cool doing this show. I think we're going to get a ton of ideas. I think we're going to help a lot of people. And
well, we
in
can all
turn,
help each other. That's the whole point of it, because
Right.
we want to hear from you guys too. If you have any like tips or tricks that you use that could make things go more smoothly for us, then we definitely want to hear them. So.
Well, and you know, it's going to be cool to know, you know, how long has a certain person been doing eBay? What kind of, you know, how many hours do they put in? I mean, as far as, okay, so I guess to get back to what we're really should be focused on is like what we're going to do. If we want to have 500 listings by the end of the week, which I think it was 65 more listings, how are we going to get that done within the next 7 days, considering eBay's not, you know, the only thing we do. We have like a huge amount of you know, things that take up our time.
Well, I would say if you shoot for 7 to 10 listings a day, that should be able to totally conquer that goal.
I mean,
right? 7 to
if
10
you-
listings a day. So if you just like in the
That's
morning
70,
when you
right?
have a few hours before your day gets started, then you hop on and, you know, list a couple things, and
Well,
later in the evening when you have free time again, like, you know, list a couple more. So if it's 7 to 10 a day and you have 65 in a week, that should be attainable.
right, but I almost think that you need to pinpoint a little more precise, like kind of like pigeonhole yourself into a certain time where if you're, you know, it's going to be different for everybody listening, but like for us, let's just give the example, you know, if you wake up at 5:30 in the morning every day, you know, there's a few things you could probably do a little bit different maybe the night before, or, you know, or maybe that morning, where if you can do 2 listings every day in the morning, and that's all you did, I mean, for 7 days, that's 14 listings. You know what I mean? So let's say you do that in the morning, and then let's say you can't do anything until dinner time. You're at home, it's like 7 o'clock at night. You know, you gotta put your kids to bed, or help them with homework, or, you know, make a lunch for the next day. Whatever it is you have to do, maybe you make that goal of, as soon as I brush my teeth, I'm gonna list 3 more listings. And if you can do that every day, all of a sudden, you know, you're getting to that almost 10 listings a day. And there's gonna be certain days where you hate it, but you push through and you do it, and you're gonna reap that reward. You look back at the end of the week, and you know, you're looking at almost 70 listings. So I think that's gonna be a huge motivator. So okay, so for us, it's 500 listings next week. That's basically, we're going to try to hit around like 8 to 10 a day, and maybe go through that 65, 70 number, and go, you know, beyond. We're going to try to shoot for 10 to 12 sales by the end of next week. We want to figure out more ways to utilize sales in our eBay store. Yeah, let us know if you guys have an eBay store. That's definitely the way to go, we think, for if you're going to be messing around on eBay. That's for another conversation. Yeah.
Alright guys, well we'll see you next week, and let us know how your week was on eBay.
Yeah, let us know. We'll leave the comments open. Thanks for joining us on episode 1, Risk and Reward. And geez, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a million things that we think of as soon as we turn off this camera. Definitely
We'll get to that next week.
Yeah, we'll get to that next week. So yeah, have fun. It's late for us, but you guys need your sleep. You got to start selling. ABC, right? All right. Risk and Reward. We'll see you next time.